welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Qualls, and with us, as always, our resident football expert, Tate Mathews. Tate, how you doing, brother?
Great, bro. Good to be back with you.
Fall break is coming up this week. We have a very small slate of games. We had some people on bye last week. Let's talk about those games first before we get into this week's game. Ravenwood-Fairview. I love this matchup. I love the fact that Coach Hughes has this on his schedule. 7-7 at halftime. However, the Raptors came out, played a little better in the second half. 35-7. Nothing to be ashamed of on the Fairview side. Like I said, I love this matchup. They will not see anybody in the 3A playoffs until they get to Cookeville, where everybody, including yourself and the pundits, have Alcoa penciled in. They will not see anybody of this size or caliber.
Yeah, I would say it's a safe bet to pencil Alcoa in. But
on
Fairview
on
goes
the 3A
west,
level,
right?
Absolutely. Yes, I'm talking about in the championship game.
That's right.
They
I
will
would
not
love
see
nothing
anybody.
more than to get a chance to see that. That would be awesome.
That's right.
Yeah. No, shout out to Coach Hughes for scheduling it. I know they will be better for this, no doubt about it. Everybody wants to go 10-0, but sometimes that's not the best thing to do. Sometimes 7-3 is good, right? And so this was a great challenge for them. It was 7-7 at halftime against one of the top 6A teams, another team that's got a very good chance to go west and end up in Cookeville. So, I mean, they played well. Cam Harris-Lusk with the touchdown. I don't know if you saw it on the highlights, but it was tipped and great concentration, stayed with it. But, you know, if there was any doubt if they could play with them, I think they got their answer. Yes, they can. You know, just too much speed and too much depth, I think, got them. But and also shout out to Ravenwood for coming back in the second half, fixing the things that they needed to. Brian Garcia had another big game. I believe I saw where he broke the touchdown record.
Throwing touchdown record.
Throwing touchdown record, which is.
Do you know who had that record previously?
My man, number 12. Went to UT Chat. What's wrong with me?
McCain Morrow.
No, McCain Morrow. I did not think.
You were thinking Cole Brown.
Cole Brown.
McCain Morrow had 22 touchdowns in the 2016 season. It was broken last Friday night by
Did that
Brian
include
Garcia.
playoffs?
I'm assuming so, yes.
So
we still got 2 games to go at a minimum.
Yeah.
At a minimum.
Yeah.
He broke that. He's now at 23 with 1 regular season game to go. They're on the bye this coming up week. You got to think he's going to add to that total with more, with more in the playoffs. Anthony Holmes, can't say enough about that young man. He is absolutely blistering secondaries and defensive backs.
Bain, I saw where Bain was back. Did he get a touchdown run or close? I think he did. That's nice, getting him back in the backfield with Jordan Smith. So firing all cylinders. And then the most important thing of all week, congratulations to Coach Daniels and his wife,
Absolutely.
baby girl on Wednesday or Thursday. Mm-hmm. So he had a good week last week.
Everybody's healthy. Got to ring the victory bell twice.
Baby girl looks like mama.
Thank goodness, right?
Good.
That's what we always say.
That beard,
at least for us.
That beard wouldn't look good on a little girl.
35-7 once again was that total. Ravenwood moves on. You mentioned, you said 7-3. They will not finish 7-3. They will finish 8-2.
8-2, that's right.
Just to be, Mr. Producer's not here today, so I'm going to step into his role.
Make
sure you give Fairview the due. 8-2.
No, I didn't mean that. They're going to win out. I meant a couple years ago. Remember, they went undefeated, but then the next year they went 7-3, and I think that's
went further in the playoffs. The 8-2 still gives you a velvet rope at Snappy's. Maplewood 20, Nolensville 13. Nolensville's they're playing this Jekyll and Hyde game right now. They come out in the first half. They don't play as well. They have to play from behind. In a game like this, you cannot play from behind. You know that. And they did. They came roaring back. Had to kick an onside kick at the end to roll the dice to try to get the ball back and try to tie this game up. Maplewood, a very good team. I think this goes to show Nolensville's really, really close. Closer than probably what people think. You know, we knew going in last year, they came in that 4th spot. They beat the number 1 on the other side in playoffs. It looks like it's going to come down to this Marshall County game, whether or not who's going to get the 3rd or 4th slot. In the playoffs, 1 and 2 is out of the question right now. That's going to go to either Tullahoma or Maplewood, who plays in Week 10. So what's your thoughts on the Knights right now?
Well, I actually went to this game, and Maplewood I think they're probably going to win the region. They've got one of the most talented quarterbacks you'll see anywhere.
Bobo Hodges?
Bobo Hodges, he's the real deal. He's your kind of guy. He's a point guard, too. He can do a little bit of everything. But great player. And let me tell you something. They were down 20-0 at halftime. This thing could have gone the other way. It could have got away from them. That's the thing I thought was most impressive was Nolensville fought back And it was not easy because they are a talented football team. They fought back, came back in the second half, cut that thing to 7 points, had a chance to tie it up, and then you mentioned the onside. So you're right. I think they're really, really close. I don't think they'll see. They struggled in a couple areas, and one of them was Nolensville blocking Maplewood's defensive front. That defensive front, they're big, they're fast, they're strong, they're mean. And first half, they really didn't have a whole lot going for them. And so they obviously came out in the second half, made some adjustments, and did some really good things. So I think Maplewood's a really good football team. They lost by 7 points. I think you're exactly right what you said at the beginning. I think they're a lot closer than maybe what the record shows with them finishing third or fourth in the region. And, I mean, there were some big-time athletes on. Kendrell Scurry made some big plays. The Travaris Springer, I think he's probably the best one they have. He made some big plays, but I really like this Nolensville Knight team to make a good push come playoff time. They will just, if they see Maplewood again, they're going to figure out a way to get some push. They got no push on the defensive front, but that's also in big part because Maplewood has a really good defensive line.
What is going to have to happen for them to get over the hump, to get out of this Jekyll and Hyde style football? Because you've got week 10 or week 11, if you will, on the official schedule left for Nolensville. They definitely have a winnable game. They're going to be playing Marshall County at home. Marshall's always, they're no pushover. They play Brentwood this week, which will be an interesting matchup. I'm sure Coach Derrick and them will be there scouting this game. But what are they going to have to do to get ready for this playoffs? What are they going to have to do to get out of this back-and-forth funk, if you will? Colton Dooley right now, a staple for them. Tim Stacekel playing really good. Gillardi at quarterback playing well. Your man Colton Dooley visit to UT Martin this past week, and I think it's pretty interesting. I think this guy is going to be he's kind of opened some eyes here this season. But what are the guys to do to get out of this?
Well, I think, they have a better idea of who they are. Obviously, they had some, they had some injury issues that kind of they weren't quite sure. It kind of changed what they were about, and so going into the season, maybe we wanted to do this, and then due to some unforeseen circumstances with injuries, they've had to change kind of what they were. So I think they know what they're about now. Obviously, Gillardi is the quarterback, and so he does some things a little bit different than what some of Wharton's strengths were. You know what I'm saying? And then I think that so they've got a better feel for that. And then the Maplewood thing, again, I don't know that it was really anything that they did wrong. I think it was just against a really good football team. And then as that game went on, they figured out what they could do against Maplewood, and also that they could do it, maybe for the kids. So I wouldn't be too worried about the Maplewood loss. I don't know what Maplewood's record is, but if anybody beat them, it had to have been a bigger school that beat them. Was it, or was it East?
Cane Ridge.
There you go.
I believe that's right. No, I could be wrong on that. I need to double check that.
So I think they're okay. I would love to. Who do we finish up with at Nolensville? Do we know?
They play Marshall County.
Marshall County. I bet they go down there or have them up and take care of business.
Here's the thing is I feel comfortable enough to say, and I think you agree with me, that it's not out of the realm of possibility for Nolensville to beat Maplewood or Tullahoma. I'd love this rematch, this opportunity to put them out in the playoffs. Now, things are going to have to get right. They're going to have to, when I talked to Coach Derrick over the weekend, 2+ turnovers a game, they're over. I mean, this ain't rocket science.
That's right.
You turn the ball over more than twice, you're not going to have a chance to win at all. Right. They had 3 turnovers in this game. The Tullahoma game, I think they had 4. You just can't afford to put the ball on the ground and throw interceptions with a chance to win. So if they tighten those things up, which I do believe they will, they got basically 3 weeks to do it. They got off week this week, Marshall County, and then it's all for real come first round of the playoffs. I think they're going to get this thing, rally troops, and get the turnovers fixed. Hopefully try to get some of those battles in the trenches, one against those linemen that you're talking about, and roll on. So,
well, and the good thing also is next time they see them, if they see them again, hopefully see them, it'll be colder. Run game, that's a little bit more suited to the run game. Sometimes those metro schools, better than anybody, they start hearing that basketball bouncing inside.
Popcorn, yeah. Varnish, smell the varnish.
Man, it's cold out here. I could be in there.
Hooping it up. We'll see. Independence 42, Dixon nothing. You called this one. You should have put on your boat captain hat. Your arm would have gotten tired by pulling the whistle so many times on this thing, man. This thing was over before it even began. But let's talk about what your man Ethan Cash did in the first half. 300-plus yards throwing.
300-plus yards throwing. 5 touchdowns?
I believe it was, no, it was 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns.
0 interceptions.
0 interceptions, playing really well. Isaiah Collier was, I think, 7 for 177 yards and a touchdown. TJ was 7 for 166 yards. They have both eclipsed the 1,000-yard receiving mark for the season.
Let's just stop.
That's crazy.
Moment of silence for secondaries across the country.
Pretty good.
1,000 yards receiving for both. I call them the Eagles wingman now. The two of them, the Purdue commit, TJ Sheffield, the opposite wingman, Isaiah Collier. Who do you guard? It doesn't matter who you guard. You shade to one side, the other one tears you up. Yeah. They get to that middle level, that second, that second level of defenses past the linebacker. It's over. Skate City.
No, yeah, and they're both playing really well. I love. We've talked about him all year. I love Isaiah Collier. We got to see him up close and personal a few weeks ago, and somebody, there's a few of them we talk about. And he's one of them. Somebody's got to take this kid. If they don't take him, I've lost all faith in college football. It's going to become a gross fest. But I think we're going to be okay. I don't think I have to worry about that. This kid can play.
Why can't Austin Peay pick him up?
I don't know if he's positive enough. Hey.
He'd be positive enough with 1,000-plus yards.
After past 2 weekends, they need defense. That's not Austin Peay's problem. They need to score. They can score points. They're having a hard time stopping people from scoring points. But and Ethan, man, he's really playing well. 2 things noticed about him. One, he's strong kid. We talked about that last show. And he's also tough. Now, I don't think he got any shots against Dixon, but he's shown that he can take a shot. And, I am super, super excited about this Ravenwood game coming up.
Well, let's talk about Cash one more time. 303 yards. What would his quarterback rating be? He was 12 of 13, 0 interceptions, 4 touchdowns. He's carving up defenses like Jackson Mathews and Major Qualls carves up people on
the press
on Fortnite in an open world game. I mean, are you kidding me?
No.
This thing is, I mean, it's really ridiculous of what they're doing right now. But it is setting up a very special night come 2 weeks from now.
Gonna be fun.
Pretty much for the region championship. Well, we'll talk about those scenarios in just a moment. Independence, once again, is a winner, 42-0 over Dixon. Game of the week last week was a really good one.
Centennial. You want to talk about Jekyll and Hyde.
Yes. Summit 28, Centennial 14. The pundits like the Cougars and the play of the Cougars coming in. They were a 14-point favorite in this game. Summit Old Sparty coming in as a 14-point dog. Think about that. And end up winning by 14. Also brings us to the play of the week, the wing tee offense at its finest, George Odomegwu.
Again, that wing tee formation giving the Cougars fits, and it does so again as this time plenty of room, and this will be Odomegwu or Gavin Wells, I believe. No, it is Odomegwu.
And there are no flags on the field.
No flags on the field, and the seas parted there.
As it's your typical handoff here to Odomegwu, and just a nice block downfield. I tell you what, the receivers play a big part in this wing tee, and no one coming close to Odomegwu.
As you can see right there, they're running George. Coach Coleman mentioned on the coach's preview show, I mean, he had to break it down for me because I really don't know anything about football, according to him and you. And
that was his quote.
No, that was you.
He threw me in on it as well.
Well, that's okay. But, I don't know anything. Let's have a conversation.
You know a wheel route when you see one.
I know a wheel route, but they also put him in the wing back of this wing tee, the little misdirection. They have I forget.
Trey Hunter.
Trey Hunter in the backfield there for, thinking that they're going to have a straight handoff. They have George in motion. Now, why do we do that? We put George in motion to fake that and give Hunter the ball there to get the defense shifting with George. Am I right on that? Well, I can't wait till basketball season.
Misdirection, man. Misdirection.
I know that's all it's about. Yeah. But the question, when it gets to that edge, you don't have to talk about football. We just talk about track meets.
Athlete. Being an athlete. That's what they want.
63 yards to the house.
You hear the term second level. They want George past the D-line to that second level, and they feel like they're going to win that matchup more often than not, and they probably are. And that's what's been fun to watch, the emergence of Trey Hunter. And you go, it's kind of like what we were talking about with Nolensville. You thought you knew what we were at the beginning of the season. We put George back there because he's our best running back or our most explosive running back, but he's a little bit different. He's better suited outside than Ty was. So I think they feel like, obviously after the Centennial game, they got a better feel what they're about. Trey's been playing great. He's a workhorse, tough. He's not going to take those 75, 80 yarders that Ty and George did, but he's going to get you at 100 yards if you give him enough carries, and they're going to be tough, hard yards, falling forward and holding on to the ball. And then George is being an athlete, and then obviously Destin Wade is a threat with his feet too. I think he had 9 rushes, 102 yards, touchdown. So he's another guy. Let your athletes be athletes, man. Right?
Absolutely.
That's really not. That's what Maplewood does. I assure you.
They use the KISS method.
Well, yeah.
Got to keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
That's all you have to do. Keep it simple, right? So,
but I tell you what, even was more impressive to me was the Summit defense held Centennial to under 100 yards. They had 127 yards.
It's hard to do.
Oh my gosh.
Jario Wilson.
Jario was at 76, 79. Now, passing game is a little bit different from Centennial now, but still, I mean, Jario was averaging right at about 150. So the defense played great. And it was a big, big win for Summit. Coach Coleman, we were looking at his schedule earlier. They won their first game. They have gone win, loss, win, loss, win, loss the whole season through. So let's see. Maybe they're hitting their stride at the right time.
I think they break that curse, not this week, they're on bye, but next week because they play Lincoln County. I think they'll get that, finish off the year with a win. However, Centennial, man, that comes at a bad time to play like that. Here you are, you're fixing to play, believe it or not, you're going to play for your playoff life and even have a chance, believe it or not, to get second place in the region with a win over Brentwood in week 11. But this is not a good game you want to go to in the break, into fall break. But maybe they can circle the wagons, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Brentwood, Franklin, and Page, all three were on the bye, Tate. So that brings us to this week. Week 10 on schedule. Week 11 is the final week. A lot of folks on bye this week, but there are some really, really good games. So let's talk about that game. I do want to mention one thing. Shari Hainsworth. I've been talking about him all year. Got his first offer from Tusculum College. I really think that's a great level for him. I think there'll be more offers for him for an athlete that size with his ability.
Yes.
At that level would be really, really good.
You can't coach size and athletic ability. And, again, this is his first year of football. He's going to do nothing but get better.
That's crazy. Brentwood 6-2, 3-1 in the region, playing at Marshall County 3-5, 2-2. Marshall County had a first week overtime loss to Cane Ridge, 35-28. You think about that game. We can't play 7 degrees of separation of Kevin Bacon at this point in time of the season. But if it was earlier, maybe we could. But I'm just telling you, I do not believe that this game will be a blowout. I caught you off guard.
Yeah, no, I didn't think that's what you'd say. I think it is a blowout.
Okay, we're conflicting here.
Yeah.
You think so?
But we'll get to that in pick'ems. I think so. They've got some athletes. I don't think they match up with Brentwood in the trenches. Brentwood has had their week off. They're healing up. I think they're playing really well. Usually where Marshall County's got the edge, I would think, in a game like this is maybe the skill guys. I don't think they have that edge. I really like what Granzow's doing from the quarterback position. I'm assuming he'll be back. He was sick. But even if he is, you look at what Dylan Stevens did against Father Ryan, so they're going to be fine. So, no, I think Brentwood gets after him. They had a week off. They're chomping at the bit. Marshall County's in trouble.
Speaking of the Father Ryan game, the Bruins did win this game 21-10 in week 8 prior to going on to the bye. They held the Father Ryan rushing attack to only 75 yards. Did give up 265 passing. I don't know if it's any reason to push the red alert panic button yet.
10 points. That's all you need to know. Against a D2
that's
318.
That's a great point. They only produced 10 points. The offense for the Bruins, though, they're averaging 32 points per game. That's pretty stout. That receiving core, they're throwing 6 targets a night. 6 separate people are getting touches. Avery Williams led that game, 6 catches, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Avery is pretty much getting a lot of those mid-major offers right now. He's been on several trips this past weekend. Matter of fact, I think he was in Charlotte, maybe. I think that's right. UNC Charlotte, but he's in that level of area of playing or getting offers, rather. Joshua Nicholas, 83 yards and 14 carries against Father Ryan. Marshall County coming in beating Spring Hill 28-7 last week. That's no surprise because everybody is beating Spring Hill this year. I'm going to tell you, let's get into it for just a moment. Marshall County does not play like a 4A team, or I haven't seen them play this year. They usually don't.
Right.
They did lose their quarterback at the first-year transfer, and I think that makes all the difference in the world. He would definitely be an equalizer on this game offensively with their skill players. With him gone, the size of Brentwood, the physicality of Brentwood, and like you said, now that they have those targets out there, the skill players, is equal. I think the depth and just absolutely wears on Marshall County. But I just don't – I cannot see this game as a boat race. It's at Marshall County, hostile environment, if you will, down there in Lewisburg. Home of the Tigers out there on the baseball field / football field.
It's a great place to watch.
It is a neat place. It's a really tough place, number one, to win, and furthermore, to really boat race somebody.
I think so. Yeah, but we'll see.
So you're putting your captain's hat on that.
I can't wait to see Coach Crawford with the boat captain on. Boat captain hat.
They do have a quality win over a very good Shelbyville team, 24-21, early in the season, week 2, that is.
I know. It's crazy.
It is crazy in that region.
And if they play like they did against Cane Ridge, then you're right. It won't be a boat race.
Well, the pundits like the Bruins. They're laying 17 down against Marshall County at Marshall. It's a pretty stout line.
You say pundits. There's just one pundit, right?
It sounds better plural, doesn't it?
Better. I like it. Pundits.
Okay. Franklin, 4-4.
He's usually right.
He's been right pretty much all the way. Franklin 4-4, 1-3 versus Spring Hill 0-8, 0-4. Just what the doctor prescribed right here for the Rebels to get back on the horse. Getting into this game, you can't ever overlook any team that you play. However, with this particular game, you can't look. You can't fast forward to that last game of the season against Dixon. Obviously, they've got to win that game, and they will win that game. You just can't overlook anybody at this given point. I mean, you know that. That's why they play the game. But I don't think they have to look at them too long.
No. This is a game where they're coming off the bye week, come out, be sharp, and get up and get the young pups in, get ready for Week 11 against Dixon County. But this is a game that they should be able to – you'll see the maturity of your team right here in this game. If they don't handle this very well, then Dr. Defense has got bigger problems than X's and O's.
Spring Hill is averaging a 9.5 points per game onslaught. I mean, that shouldn't be too tough for the Rebels to get in there and get off them. I mean, it's one of those things you got to crush your spirit early, really. Let's be honest. You get in there and you get after them early, get physical, maybe have a turnover, score pretty quick. We're pulling the sail down.
Yeah, and that guy, they're doing good things. They're outmatched right now. So, yeah, don't take care of business early. Let's get the puppies in.
The pundit has them as a 25-point favorite. I believe they cover, and they cover easily. Book that one.
Popcorn? Are you? Well, we'll
Popcorn City. Independence 4-4, 3-1 at Memphis East.
Oh my gosh!
Memphis East has scored a total of 12 points on the season. 5 shutouts. We're not even going to talk about this very often because we're running out of time.
Isaiah Collier averages more than 12 points a game.
I need my tombstone right now.
You know what's amazing? Just 3 years ago, they were in the state championship game. That's amazing. But this one,
5 shutout games. Have not scored a point. 12 points total for the season.
Yeah, this one's going to be bad.
Look for Sheffield, Collier, and Cash to play a quarter and a half, 2 quarters most. At halftime, this one's over. It is a running clock. The pundit loves it at 36. I think they cover, and they cover easily, and may get it in the first half.
Here's the great thing. Let's say they get up that big. Cash comes out, and then comes Cisco. This is a guy who's got a 400-yard game under his belt.
It's not like we're going to drop off any. I mean, they can literally – and I'm sure Coach Blade will be running the ball at that point, trying to get the clock out.
I don't even know if it's in the playbook.
I don't know if it's in the playbook either, so best of luck. Best of luck, Memphis East. Page 7-1, 4-0, Shelbyville. This is a game. This is the one for the ages for the Patriots out there. This is pretty much for the Region 5 5A championship, man. What is in store for this game? We're running out of time. We got 3 minutes. I want all three.
Two great quarterbacks. Grayson Trammell, the all-time passing leader in a game in TWCA history. Almost 4,000 yards last year, okay? But I'm telling you, Cade Walker's the real deal when he's healthy. He's healthy, and this is going to be fun, man. This definitely won't be a 10-7 football game. I know this. Shelbyville's going to throw the ball around a lot. Burdick's number 10, right? They better know where number 10 is at all times because he's got 3 interceptions on the year, and he's a guy who just has a knack for the ball. Got a little season stats for him. Two-way player. Burdick so far this year. Now, he's only playing about a half, in a lot of these games. 42 receptions, 551 yards, 10 touchdowns. 10 kickoff returns for 293 yards, 1 touchdown. 11 punt returns for 185 yards, 1 touchdown. 59 tackles, 3 interceptions.
Well, you stole my thunder a little bit because Shelbyville, you better just look out.
Sorry.
Burdick is going to be baiting him all night long. I think several things come into play. I think number one is Burdick obviously will either knock down a pass or multiple passes, or get his hands on one and get a pick off.
His mitts.
Number two is who are you going to kick to on punts? If they can get stops, if they can get the 3 and outs, get a punt, who they going to kick to? They're going to have to kick it out of bounds.
That's what I do.
Because Burdick's going to get that thing and he's going to return it. So he changes the game completely from a philosophical standpoint, from a strategic standpoint. But you get the ball on the other side for Page. Cade Walker. This guy, I can't wait to see him. He still has another year of playing.
That's right.
I mean, we're looking at probably Brian Garcia numbers as far as potential throwing touchdowns. You're looking at maybe some Ethan Cash, Cisco numbers from Indy before this thing's over, before his career's up. This kid can flat play. We've always said it, top 3 quarterback in the entire conference. He's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be fun to watch.
The pundit likes this game for the Pats. However, he's giving them the obligatory home field advantage at 2.5. This is a tough one to call.
It really is a tough one to call.
So we got to go right now. Who you got? Page, Shelbyville.
I'm going to go with Page.
He didn't want to, folks.
Pats, no.
Pats, everybody has slept on you all year long, including us two. Never would have thought at this point in time you're 7-1. You moved to 8-1 and the Region 5A champions. Brentwood at Marshall.
Oh, Brentwood.
Brentwood easy, he says. I think Brentwood in a little bit closer game than what meets the eye. Franklin Spring Hill.
Franklin.
Popcorn City, not even close. Independence, Memphis East.
Boat race, popcorn, tombstone. I don't know. What else is out there left?
This could be the biggest lopsided victory ever for the Eagles, and that's saying a lot. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.